I know it's like terrifying.
I double checked to make sure I clicked the right channel. All right. I guess we are ready to get started. Let me I'm going to test a new command. Supposedly I can type record and it'll record this. I know we have somebody recording video, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try this command just for the hell of it. All right, it's recording. Cool. Well, it says it is. All right, so for those that are new to the meetings, we have a channel called Meeting Channel. It's a text channel. You can type there, you can chat, you can make jokes, you can talk about how retarded T is, whatever you want to do. Have fun. That's the channel to chit chat in. We ask that you don't talk in the voice channel right now while we're doing this. Keep your chatter to the text channel. I'll try to glance at it. I won't be able to answer questions from that text channel just yet. At the end of the meeting, I'll take questions, and that's where you'll type them. When the meeting does get to that point where I start taking questions, that's when I'm going to ask everybody to slow down the chatter in the meeting channel so I can actually catch the questions. But for now, you're more than welcome to chatter in there as much as you want and talk trash and do whatever. Boomstick, I killed 7 players at a admin sponsored server party. So let me tell you how fun that was. Anyway, so thanks for all coming. We got a pretty good list here, so I'm going to skip a lot of the formalities and just hop right into the meat and potatoes here. Again, for those that are new to this kind of stuff, basically I just go through a bunch of points, or bullet points that I have. I take notes throughout the month and of things I want to bring up at the next meeting, and that's basically what we're about to do right now. And then at the end of the meeting, we let the other admins, say their pieces and say what they got to say, do what they got to do. Then we'll let players ask some questions, and then we're going to give out some prizes. So, starting with my first note. Actually, I think more than one admin's probably going to want to jump in on this one. So let's go ahead and just get this one out of the way now. My note says, please stop being Chads during PvP day. It is not that freaking serious. Grouping up and steamrolling solos on a PvE server does not make you an elite PvPer. So, aside from my snarkiness in that comment, in a nutshell, we just need everybody to chill out. Like, PvP day is 20 hours long out of a whole wipe. There is, we get it. Some are really good at it. Some suck at it. I suck at it, period. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's why I own a PvE server. But like, nobody's impressed. We're all here to be friends, like 9 days out of the 10. And then killing each other for the last 20 hours, it doesn't matter. It all wipes. Nobody cares. Nobody's impressed. And it goes on both ends. To those that are kicking everybody's ass, we get it. You're good at PvP. To those that are getting their ass kicked, look, it's not that big of a deal. It all goes away the next day anyway. Hell, it's not even 20 hours because you get the 2 hours of power hour. So let's just calm down. Like, everybody, we get it. You got a big dick. We get it. Like, we don't need the toxicity. We don't need all the wagging your junk in people's faces about how great you are. And we don't need, on the other hand of that, we don't need the whining and the crying when you do die or you get killed or you get owned. We don't need you griping about it and cussing and calling DVN a hacker. We all know DVN can headshot you from 700 meters away. I promise you he's not a hacker. We've observed DVN and we've had so many reports on DVN, it's ridiculous. And we have watched him so many ways. I think I checked his prostate. I mean, that's how much we watch him. The dude, I heard that, Briscoe. The dude is not hacking. I promise you. But you get my point. Like, just get over it. It's not that big of a deal. So again, to those who are the badasses, we get it. You're good at PvP. You don't have to be, so mean about it. This whole server is here to be your friend, 9 days out of the 10. To those that are getting owned in PvP, we get it. It sucks. Trust me, I've taken many a bullet to the forehead from people like DVN. It sucks. You die. It's not that big of a deal, though. It goes away in the next day when we wipe. So please, for the love of God, stop with the toxicity in the Chad mentality. Like, all you're doing is driving players away from our server. We lose players by the truckload to that toxicity. And then if new players join, and they do, for some odd reason, we get more new players on PvP day than any other day. I don't get why that works. But the new players that join and see that toxicity, they like, oh, it's just like any other Rust server. I'm gonna get out of here. We pride ourselves on how great of a community we have, but I don't know where you guys lose it all when it comes to PvP day. It's not that big of a deal. Um, any other staff have anything? I'm sure Aliana or somebody has something to throw in on top of this before I move on.
Well, just realize, folks, too, with this, we will be cracking down a little bit more on things. We're going to, and mind you, take this with a grain of salt. We're going to try to avoid banning, but banning is not always the worst thing out there. Muting you guys in chat, which then makes it so you cannot use any of your chat commands, is probably far worse at times. So, if you got to do something, if you want to say something, take it to DMs in Discord, take it to DMs, fine. Just try and keep it out of public space. And try not to harass people either with it. I'm done.
I do have a couple things. So I'm Aliana. Just for the rest of the staff, Mr. Ugly suggested that we announce who we are, just because there's so many people in voice, maybe they can't find who's actually talking. So like Drex said, we are trying to crack down on it. Like T-Bird said, my main reason that I ever even jump into it is because honestly, I really enjoy the PvP element of the server, and I know a lot of you guys do. And I think the worst thing that would be happening would be if you guys ran each other off the server, and then we lose all of you guys, and there's no fun to be had. And I think that there's a lot of fun to be had with the PvP, even when it doesn't go exactly like you want it to. So just be mindful of that. I mean, honestly, a lot of times it's like one little miscommunication. Somebody thought that we were being friendly, and then we weren't, and then they killed me, and then they looted my stuff, and it just starts this like war. And while the dynamics again are kind of fun to be witness to, I mean, I know that people feel sometimes harassed, and that's the part that's concerning for us. Is we don't want people to feel like that. People come to our server to get away from toxicity, and I know that a lot of times it is banter, but when you don't know somebody, you don't know if they're being serious or not. And just be cool, bro. Be cool with one another, and that's it. I mean, and if somebody is harassing you, please report it. Please let us actually take advantage and intervene. I mean, there's a lot of times where I've been called to a situation and I have to get on the person who's actually the victim because they did something to retaliate and they look like they're grieving. And the actual person who's been doing all of this stuff, we have no record of that because the person who was the victim chose not to be a tattletale. And it's not tattletaling to get rid of somebody who's being a jerk on our server. And as always, please, please, please have shadow play, because a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, you didn't even see him doing this. And it's like, no, I didn't. And you didn't submit it to us. So now I can't actually take action on it. So please help us to enforce that. And please do better for those of you guys who partake in it to be mindful of the fact that we're all just trying to have fun playing.
All right, we good? Okay, so moving on to my next bullet point. If there's a crash or a rollback, we cannot do anything for you. The good news is we haven't had one in a while. Knock on some wood. Hold on, my desk is wood there. We actually every crash we've had since God, I think 2019 has been a Unity PhysX crash. Nivix and a couple of the developers over there at FacePunch discussed some things, and we think we may have found what was causing it. It's a Rust thing. It's a Unity engine thing. It's nothing our server is doing. It's something to do with objects colliding. Like, you know how you throw objects on the ground, and if they're the same thing and they touch each other, they combine? We've narrowed it down to it's something to do with that. So we actually, Nivix threw together or got us a little plugin that stops objects. It stops something with the physics of the objects, whatever. So we've been trying that out for about a month and a half now, and we've not had a crash since. So that's a plus, a very big plus. But anyway, so the point being, though, if we do have a crash, there's just nothing we can do about it, you guys. We did the thing where the server saves more often now. Once we found out that FacePunch, we discussed this at the last meeting, but FacePunch in their infinite wisdom decided to make Rust servers to where, typically you have your server save every 15 minutes. When a server saves, it gives a little lag spike, not even a whole second long, but it'll give a little stutter. You'll get a little brief rubber band when a server saves. So we had it set to save every 15 minutes. That's typical with Rust servers. And if there's a crash or something, you can only revert back to the last save. Well, we found out last month, and again, we discussed this at the last meeting, but the server skips the save if there's a cargo plane, a cargo ship, or a patrol heli on the map. I don't know if you guys know this, but on our server, especially a month ago, there's always a freaking cargo plane, a cargo ship, or a patrol heli on the map. So we were getting like hour-long rollbacks because the server just kept skipping its save because there's always a cargo plane on the map from all the supply drops. So we instituted that the plugin update where your supply drops are now instant to prevent the planes from being on the map. And then we also reduced the time to where the server saves every 5 minutes now instead of 15 minutes. Again, you'll get a brief little lag spike, and I hate to give you guys 12 of those per hour instead of 4, but it's a much better chance now that there'll be no big rollback if something happens. So just know if there's a server crash, again, it's been over a month, but if there's a server crash, there's nothing we can do. We cannot replace a single bullet of yours. I'm sorry. Last crash, we had admins that lost triple digits of rockets and C4. They didn't even get their shit back, and they're the ones that spawn it in. So we just cannot give you, whoever's vaping. Can you mute your mic, please?
Oh my God, is my mic open? I'm so sorry.
Anyway, so whoever, so we can't give you your stuff back. I'm sorry. That's just one of those things. There's nothing we can do about it. Again, the admins don't even get their stuff back if there's a crash.
And it's look at it this way, folks. It's a workload thing. It's just the amount of work we would have to do, and the top it all off. We have no idea what you had in your bags. We have no definitive. So you could be like, "Oh, I had 100 C4, 100 rockets, 5 M2." We have no clue. So instead of going, well, are they telling the truth? Are they not? It's just easier for everything just to be like, I'm sorry. I was one of the ones that lost 60 C4 and 80 rockets in the one rollback. I literally went to make an admin raid, took everything out of my backpack, put it into a box. So all my backpack, all my main inventory, gone. Just gone.
Yeah, you're bleeding out with it.
It's just a logistics thing, and it's a fairness thing. So if we did it for one person, we have to do it for all. And we have about 1,000 players per wipe on our server. That's a lot of people. And if we do it for one bullet, then we got to do it for 100 C4. And then if we take this guy's word for it, then we got to take that guy's word for it. And it just opens us up to so many problems. So we just blanket statement, we cannot help you if the server crashes and you lose some items from a rollback. And that's why we include the admins too, because we want to be as fair as possible. If we can't help the players, we can't help the admins either. So everybody loses their shit if there's a rollback. And again, hopefully it doesn't happen. We can go many, many months without a crash. So any admins got anything else on that one? All right, moving on. My next note actually was a personal note. It wasn't even in my list here, but we are not clairvoyant. We need proof. There's been a real big problem lately with this. Get shadow play, do something. We need some kind of proof. If someone stole stuff from you, get proof. Get shadow play. It records backwards. It's free. If something happens, you can hit a hotkey and it'll record the last 30 seconds of your gameplay or whatever you have it set to record. It's free. It doesn't lag you to run. It doesn't harm you to run. But and again, this isn't us being jerks. Like, we want to help every single one of you. We really do. Like, there's no question about it. If you're having a bad experience, we want to help you. If someone's harassing you, we want to help you. If you lost a bunch of shit, we want to help you. We do. But we're not mind readers. We can't see the past. We can't see the future. If we could, I'd be rich. We got to have some kind of proof. We cannot just we can't take your word for it. We have to have proof. My favorite person on the server versus my most hated person on the server. I can't take either one of y'all's words. I have to have some kind of proof. It's not to be a jerk. It's not to be rude. It's not to give you any problems. And it's not because we're too lazy and we don't want to help you. We can't just take your word for things. We have to have proof. All right, moving on. You do not have to take all the loot out of a raid-based container to get credit for completing the raid. I don't know if you guys know this, but throwing items on the ground in Rust is a huge hit on a server. There actually used to be exploits where you could go just spam pumpkins on the ground to crash people's servers. Like, that was a known thing you could do. Luckily, I have scripts in place that if too many items get thrown on the ground, the server automatically deletes them all. But it's a huge hit on servers to throw stuff on the ground. So when you go to a raid base, you don't have to just start dumping shit everywhere. The loot, first of all, the loot will automatically drop a gray bag. If you, like, say you pull one item out of the chest, I think I have it set to like 60 seconds or something, but it'll automatically drop the loot after that. Do what?
Said yes, 60 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, so it'll automatically drop the loot anyway. You don't have to take everything out and throw it on the ground because all those items being inside of a gray bag does not hit the server like throwing loot on the ground does. So the plugin gives you credit for having looted that container, just taking one thing out. You don't have to take everything out to get credit for looting the container. So just want to make sure that was clear. You do not have to dump stuff on the ground. The same thing goes with roadside stuff. When you're looting roadside things like crates, we have a plugin that after 60 seconds it'll dump the loot, so you don't have to even worry about that. Next. Oh wait, this one must have a screenshot because this note says this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Let me go back to my little. Let me go back to my notes here and see what the screenshot must be. Let me see. Oh,
For the empty giant bases.
yeah, it's just I don't even know what to say about this anymore. Honestly, we've said so much about this.
We've begged, we've pleaded, we've gone over it with people. Guys, you don't need a 10 by 10 foundation base with literally 2 foundations worth of stuff in it.
that's
Please,
exactly
guys.
what we're seeing. Like we're seeing a 10 by 10,
We
and you go inside of it, and there's a workbench and a sleeping bag. Like, come on.
we can go in your base and see these things. We don't need this. This is where we start going, guys, we need you to cut this back. And then people go, well, why? And it's like, most of the time when we see that, it's all on the most populated areas known to man. So here we are with 4 or 5 of these in the same area on the river, on the whatever. Just, you don't need it.
I saw one that had had based in 4 large furnaces and probably had enough empty room inside the shell to put maybe another 6 large furnaces. Like literally just a giant rectangle the size of a shopping mall just for some large furnaces. And like, I mean, just there's no reason for that. And then you wonder why people are lagging. Like there's no reason for that. Especially we provide so many plugins to lock your stuff. You can lock furnaces, you can lock your stuff. Nobody can loot your stuff. There's no reason to wall all that stuff in like that. I understand clan compounds and stuff like that. That's a different story. That's fine because you're using that. You're fighting from it. You're using it. You're going to PvP from it. But these giant shell bases where it's just empty space, or the ones, God, you remember the one the other day, Drag, probably a week ago? It's like 30 stories tall of this empty shell of just a tower. It just went up to the sky, like the guy was trying to get to the moon. I don't even get what was going on. There was nothing in it.
And
Complete waste. Please stop. Just please stop. We don't want to micromanage you people. You guys are here to play a game. We're here to make sure the game runs smoothly and you have fun. We don't want to put our finger on and micromanage every little thing you're doing. But when you're going so nuts with these giant builds that are so empty and pointless, it's not. I know you're looking at it and going, well, that clan over there's got a huge base. Why can't I have this giant shell of a base? Because it's not about you and them. It's about the fact that if everybody does it, then it's going to lag the whole server out for everybody. And again, it's not server side lag; it's client side lag. Players just get near your stuff and they can't move. They can't do anything. So it's just be considerate. If you don't need it, just don't do it, please.
The other side is the clan bases, at least at this point, will typically have anywhere between 4 to 7 people in them.
And I just want to add one note, which is, like, I'm sympathetic to people who want to flex their building muscle because I'm the same way. We're always way more forgiving about it if you're on the edge of the map or away from other players, and not taking up raid areas where raids can spawn. Just be thoughtful about that kind of stuff. And if you're worried, like, if I don't build super big, someone's going to build on my tail, please read back in our announcements. We do allow external TCs as long as they are on the edge of your build range. So you can do that without having 800 entities that a player needs to load in. The other side of that coin is if you just really, this is the only thing you want to play, please consider checking out our light server. The population's lower. We can afford more entity count over there.
Yeah, we're more lenient about this kind of stuff the further to the edge of the map you go. So if I come across, like the one in my screenshot, by the way, all it was a giant like 10 by 10 shell of a base with a pool inside of it. It was literally just a pool. So pointless. But my thing is this: if I find that in the dead center of the map where the rivers and the roads meet and everybody for some reason has to sit on top of each other, I'm going to be real strict. If I find that out on an iceberg somewhere where nobody cares, I'm just going to fly right by it. So, I mean, and the staff will tell you, we've literally had admins, because our admins fly the map every day and report stuff back to the leads. And we've had admins say, hey, what about this one? This is insane. And I say, where is it? And they say, it's off on this grid. Leave it be. It's on the edge of the map. I don't care. So, if you want to go nuts like that, build it on the edge of the map. And I meant to touch it, Aliana. If I don't touch on the whole external TC thing by the end of this, remind me to. I don't remember if it's in my notes or not, but I want to touch on them butting up against each other like we discussed.
Yep.
So, okay. Let me go back to my notes though. Okay, so my next note is kind of redundant, but I'll still touch on it real quick. Again, shadow play is literally gold. It gives us proof if we need to return your stolen crates, ban players, return your inventory, anything. So literally, please run shadow play. Even for stupid stuff, like let's say you're going to run cargo ship and you open your inventory to pull some med kits out or some med pens out, you put them on your hotbar, you go start running cargo ship, you die, your corpse gets glitched or something, you can't get it back, no admins are online, and the cargo ship runs off the map and you lose everything. Guess what? You just opened your inventory 90 seconds ago to pull those med pens out. Now, with shadow play, you have a screenshot of what exactly was in your inventory when you died. I have a record that you died because I can see on the logs that you died. Now you have a way. You see what I'm saying? It's gold for you guys. I can't even comprehend why you would not be running shadow play. Because if you show me proof, I would literally replace. If you had 10,000 C4 in your bag and you show me that proof that you had it, I'll replace it. Absolutely. So there's no reason not to run shadow play. You would literally never do the thing.
Just for the note, shadow play is NVIDIA. There is AMD, Radeon, something or other that does it for Radeon video cards, and they can do a backwards thing. So like I normally have 10 minutes worth of video saved when I'm playing Rust. So I can just go save and it will save everything back unless I need to save more than.
And you can do smaller too. Like I only do 60 seconds. I mean, you can do whatever size you want, but it's literally gold for you people because you know us. If you prove it, we will help you, period. So just please look into getting something. Like we're getting a lot of support tickets lately where people are just like, hey, somebody stole out of my bank account in real life. Can you help me? No, you gotta give me something to go off of here. So just get shadow play or get something. Moving on to the next one. I don't even know what that one's about. I think that one's from Mac. Anyway, but you know what? I'm going to skip that note because it's not really relevant right now. I will tell you that I think, and Aliana can correct me, I think we're buffing raid-based loot.
Yes, we have plans to work on that today and throughout the week. Hopefully, we'll have it before next week.
Okay, so raid-based loot is getting buffed on all tiers. So there's that. Moving on to the next
listen
one.
to you people. We do.
We do. Let's see. Oh, but on that same note, my next note says raid bases are for raiding and learning, not farming. Pass mic to Aliana now before I lose my temper and upset the players.
So it's been a challenge kind of balancing things. We pride ourselves on not being a give everything to you guys on a platter server. And it's funny because I'm doing these feedback forms and some of the players who left are like, it's just too easy. But then, a lot of players who leave are like, it's too hard. And it's really hard to kind of balance that. Initially we set out with this 2/3 or 1/3 rule where 1/3 of the time you make a profit, 1/3 of the time you break even, and 1/3 of the time you don't. But obviously, with the amount of players that we see specifically on main, sometimes farming is really difficult. You can't seem to get where you need to get, and a lot of times we get maybe a little bit tone deaf because of the fact that we know, so many people do clan up, and so that's the kind of feedback we hear is people all working together. But for solos, it might be a little bit harder. So we want to try to scale it. We still don't want things to be just too easy. We really don't. But we also aren't trying to put you guys in this never-ending farm fest. We just want people to be spread out amongst the map doing everything: monuments, farming, building their own house, doing raids. We can't have everybody just doing raids because the loot's so good. So please be patient with us. We do appreciate your feedback. I'll take it anytime. My DMs are open. I don't close that. I'll listen to you. Just please be patient while we work on it. And thank you guys so much, those of you who have taken the time to sit down and actually explain it to us and your processes. We've really been trying to put ourselves in your shoes, and we're going to try just scaling it up just a smidge, see how it goes. We don't want to go way too far and then have to pull it back again because no one likes nerfs. Everyone likes buffs. So we're going to continue trying to step it up until we find an easy place where we can work with. That said, there always will be times where you lose a profit because either you've rated it wrong or you've run into a drop base and you get so frustrated that you just blow the whole thing up. There are always going to be times like that. It's just how it goes. Please don't take it out on us. We're trying to create content for you guys, not create another place for you to farm. So,
Our RNG is a very fickle mistress.
yes.
And understand that she doesn't like everybody all the time. The other side of the coin, it took us a while to get the original loot piles where they were and where people liked them. It may take us time. Give us feedback on them. We want it. We need it. I don't, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. If I've watched you people raid. You guys don't loot everything. So don't tell me there's no loot in the vase when I'm watching the stuff you guys are leaving behind at times. So do understand, we take things, we do listen, but also we watch. So when I watch you guys leaving, a bag with a whole bunch of things that you could have recycled down, that there you go. The other side of the coin, keep those bullets, folks. Those bullets are all gunpowder, sulfur, whatever. I've watched a couple of times now also where, here I'm sitting there and, here's a stack of, 500 shotgun shells sitting in a bag. And I'm going, you guys looted the C4, the rockets and this, but you left the rest of that gunpowder sitting there. We'll work on stuff, but you guys also have to realize it's not just, did I get C4? Did I get rockets? There's all that other loot in there and you could all be recycled.
I pick up my tuna can lamps from raids.
So the point being is basically raids, and again, this is why I passed it to Eliana, because you all know me. I'm a stickler for challenge. I'm old school gamer. I like dying and losing everything I've done in a month. That's just the kind of games I played as a kid. So I'm cool with that kind of stuff. But I understand the new generation likes things a little easier. But at the same time, you got to understand raid bases are not loot containers. That's not what they're there for. The main topic here is, for the first year of our server, you guys bitched and moaned that, oh, we farm, we build, and then at the end of the wipe, there's nothing to do, and we lose all that stuff we saved up. We end the wipe with, 500 C4, 200 rockets, and nothing to do. So we gave you guys raid bases, so you wouldn't end the wipe with tons of boom laying around. And now you guys get mad because you can't end the wipe with tons of boom laying around. You can't have the best of both worlds here. You gotta give a little. The point being is that the raid bases are content. They're not farm. They're content. Now, I do agree that it would be nice if you raiding a base left you in a position where you can move up to the next tier and try to raid another base. So I agree with that, which is why we're going to buff them a little bit. We do want you to be able to progress and not have to go back and farm more to get onto the next raid base. So I will cave on that and agree with that. But these are not farm. They're content. And honestly, they're actually pretty damn good farm if you do what Drac just said and actually take everything and recycle things and use things. I kind of feel like you guys are at an all-you-can-eat crab buffet. You're just breaking the thick thigh and eating the big chunk of crab meat, but you're skipping the rest of the claw and everything else. There's still tons of crab meat there. You gotta. I had a guy the other day complaining that this was just a stupid raid and he got nothing out of it but some F1 grenades. It was just a total waste. And I turned on my admin radar and he missed a box with 17 C4 in it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, come on. So you guys, come on. They're content. They're meant to be entertaining. They're not meant to be giant loot containers.
If I could jump in real quick. This is Mac. One thing too, if you're gonna criticize the raids and be like, oh, I didn't get shit from this, or like the loot shit and all that, or hey, these bases are too hard, or whatever, like bring it to us in like Discord or something with like something, like talk to us. Don't just complain in chat and be like, this stuff sucks. I'm not gonna do any raids anymore because they're not worth it. If you don't think they're worth it, come to us, give us constructive criticism. Like if all you're saying is this sucks, I'm gonna get annoyed because all you're saying is it sucks. You're not being helpful. You're just being a nuisance at that point.
And you're also insulting. You're also
yeah.
insulting players that or people that have worked their asses off. I mean, like their asses off on these bases.
I do have one other thing just to mention. So I know we've seen a lot of issues with heights on raid bases. We're trying to fix that on an across the board level because the way we have to do it right now is a per raid thing, and I think we're getting up towards around 200-ish raids that we had to do. So every time we have to do it, we have to go and manually mess with it. So just a reminder that you can report that stuff in the NPC base issues. I've been trying to go through there about once a week, once every 2 weeks or so, and clean them up. Also raid submissions. Just want to let you guys know we finished our outlines of what we kind of expect. I really appreciate those of you guys who have been submitting bases. It's really cool to see all that stuff. So feel free to do that. Just understand that we do have guidelines about how these raids are done now. And so we'll review them and make sure, and I don't want to decline anybody bases, just make sure you know what we're kind of expecting. A house that's just, that's just boxes on the floor is not a hard base. So just keep that in mind.
Speaking of which, kind of branching off from my notes here, and you've cleared the channel, so I may miss a name or two. You've dealt with this a lot more than I have. Let's give a shout out to, I know it's Chiron and Mizzy and a couple. I know there's been some others. Yeah, you guys are kicking ass.
A medical officer. What's his?
Oh, Restorian Field Medic.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
You guys are kicking ass. Again, I don't have any hand on the raid. Yeah, on the raid base part of things, like Aliana and Drac and Mac handle all the raid bases. I just make the decisions. No, less loot, that kind of stuff. But you guys are. I scroll the channel. I see what you're submitting. You guys are kicking ass. I really appreciate it. So all you players in the channel, understand a lot of these new bases you keep seeing in the update logs. Oh, I added a dozen more bases this week. Those are coming from players. Those are coming from people like Chiron and Mizzy and all these people. They're submitting really cool bases. They're busting their ass on that. So props to you guys. They're really cool. I appreciate it.
If you hate it, it probably came from Mac because he's been busting ass on them too.
Yeah. If you die to a base, it probably came from Mac Clear.
For sure. That's my goal.
All right, moving off to the next note. Logging off in a safe zone deletes you. I don't know if you guys were aware of this. I think I may have stopped it. This is a face punch thing. This isn't like something I did. They, as you guys know, I think 3 months ago now, made it so that if you log off in a safe zone, it deletes you. Luckily, my good friends over at Face Punch here, I bitched about it, and they told me about a little server convar that I could set that should prevent that from happening. It doesn't prevent it fully, but it's like a timer. So I basically increased that timer to 8 hours. So if you log off in a safe zone, you should be safe for about 8 hours now. I wouldn't tempt fate. This is more me just telling you that I'm trying to fix it so it doesn't happen to you anymore. Again,
I was going to say, just like plugins, things can break.
Yeah. So don't take it to the bank, but I'm trying. Again, it's a vanilla thing. It's not anything I'm doing on purpose. It's something Face Punch did. But according to them, this little variable I just set on the server should increase that time a lot. So like Drag was just saying, things break, things don't always work. So I wouldn't bank on it and purposely log off in a safe zone. But at least now, if you lose your internet or something, I don't think you're going to have to be worried about getting deleted. So hopefully that's fixed. Moving on to the next one. Sleeping inside the loot rooms or abusing TP Corps to get back inside the loot rooms is exploitable and bannable. Not sure why this is on such an increase lately, but we are banning for it. And yes, we have seen it. I'm going to tell you straight up, I watched somebody do it multiple times. If I see you using TP Corps to get back inside of a red card room or whatever the hell you're doing, or if I see you logging off in the red card room, logging back in an hour later, grabbing the loot, logging back out, over and over again. Yes, these are true stories. Yes, they were very recent true stories. If I see those things happening, I'm going to ban you. You're exploiting, you're cheating, and you're ripping other players off of loot that they probably could have had. So
someone actually lost their TP Corps privileges because of this.
Yes, they did.
They were vet gold.
Speaking of which, I paid Nivix to go ahead and add me another option to the TP Corps plugin. That option is now remove players' rights to TP Corps. So there is now a vet gold on our server that does not have the ability to TP Corps anymore. So if I catch you exploiting that, and again, I don't want you to be like, oh, I died getting the loot and now I'm going to TP corpse and T's going to ban me. No, come on. You know if you're exploiting or not. It's not that hard to figure out. If my old ass can figure it out, then you're definitely exploiting.
When I go through logs and I go, man, this person TPs to the same spots every day, every hour or so, to the
And then kills
same 3
himself.
spots, and then kills himself in various ways. Oh, that's radiation. That's an F1 grenade. I have no idea what he did there. Guess what? We have an idea.
Yeah. So just please don't exploit. That's just an insult. This server's already easy enough as it is. You don't need to exploit. Okay, moving on. It is pretty cool though that we can turn off TP corpse for individuals now. My next note. Exploiting. Explain what the definition is. Why are players getting so bad with this lately and abusing it rather than reporting it? Good example is the Bradley timers. Well, yeah, we fixed that hopefully now. I'm sure you guys have noticed that you can no longer leave a team if you're fighting a Bradley. Shame on all of you that were exploiting the team mechanics to try to get around the cooldowns. All you were doing was pissing other players off and making people quit our server. So I really appreciate that. All the hard work and all the money and development of plugins we put in to try to make things as fair for everybody as we can. Those of you who were exploiting that for your own greed, screw you. I hate to be a jerk, but that's messed up, man. There's 1,000 other players on this server that want to have some fun too, and your greed had you exploiting something so that you could hog it all to yourself. That's not cool. It cost us money. I had to pay to get some stuff added to some plugins to try to curb that exploiting. But just stop exploiting. Its server is so easy. There's really no need to exploit on a PvE server. It's just so easy. Come on.
And if you find them and
that's
bring them to us,
if you find an exploit and tell us who was it yesterday. I gave somebody like 20,000 RP or something yesterday. Who was that? I don't remember who it was.
Slowzon.
Yeah, Slowzon.
Yeah,
I gave Slowzon a shit ton of RP yesterday. Reported a really nasty bug to me that somebody could have easily, done some harm with, and himself included. He could have done some harm with. He reported it to me. He could have got himself all kinds of free stuff with that exploit or with that bug, but instead he reported it to me, and he got 5 digits of RP for it. Just tell us the stuff instead of exploiting it. Again, the Bradley thing was really pissing me off. It's all you're doing is harming the rest of the players on the server. We get it. You're awesome. You found a way to cheat our system and kill every Bradley for yourself. Nobody's impressed. All you're doing is making players want to quit our server.
And also, we have more Bradleys than a normal server. We have at least 3 to 4 of them a map going at a time that they change, usually daily, give or take. We do that on purpose because they're not contested. You can't PvP to try and take them. Spread them out. Let other people have them. The admins will be the first ones to walk away from a Bradley if there's a player there. I don't expect players to do that, but if you've taken 3 Bradleys and you see a brand new guy sitting there, with his rocket launcher going, come on, Bradley, let him have it. Either that, talk to him, maybe help him. That new player became, you may not want to give him them 2 out of the thing, but if you give him the rockets, he may be fucking really happy and be able to continue doing other things, which then comes down to PvP day. You may get more stuff from him.
On that same note, too, is the ones hogging the Bradleys like that. Again, I can't tell you what to do. If that's your idea of Rust, is just logging in and killing Bradleys all day, then that's your idea of Rust. I can't tell you how to play the game. All I can tell you is just try to be considerate of others. I mean, the same person doing that is going to end the wipe with 37 M2s in a chest. Like, you don't need 37 M2s in a chest. Hell, you don't even need half of that many. So let some other people have a turn. It's not that hard. It was funny. My next note right now is discuss Bradley's yet again. That's literally my next note. So here we go. We've gone through so much with this crap. Like, when the server started, there was one Bradley launch site. People always fighting over it. You stand in the booth, you throw your C4, you wait in line and let that person finish the Bradley, then you do it. At first, we paid money to make it so that the Bradley's locked to the person who got the kill, but then someone would sneak in and get the last shot and get the kill. So it's a progression thing. This is probably our 7th time that we've had to pay money and get customized plugins to try to help the Bradley problem. please just stop being so greedy. Just share. It's not that big of a deal. We have so many Bradleys. We have so many plugins and custom things in place to try to make it fair for everybody. We don't need people exploiting it to try to find ways to screw it all back up again.
Also, my side note too, folks, if you're putting up a Bradley tower, take it down when you're done. It doesn't need to stay. The Bradleys will shift often enough that that tower is probably going to be useless in a day or two anyway. And if the admins start noticing Bradley towers, we're going to start just getting rid of them without telling. And, I can already name on a map at least 4 that are just sitting there right now. So put them up, use them to take the Bradley, take them down. Otherwise we may start putting them up just like we do with walls that you leave out for raid bases. When all of a sudden, now you have this Bradley tower attached to your base in some awkward position.
That would be awesome.
You don't want that. Trust me.
It kind of goes against one thing that, the extra buildings that are just empty entities. Like, we allow and don't have issues with people creating teleport spots. But, when you're creating a teleport spot directly on a Bradley path, you're on a road or a river, and that's where people like to live. So you're basically blocking that area off just so you can be there about 10 seconds faster than if your teleport spot was a little bit inland. And the other part of that is when you put TCs down, you always are blocking areas where raids can spawn. So please, just in general with that, be mindful. If there's a huge flat area and you want to go mine there and you put your TC right in the middle of it because there's so many nodes, and then 3 days later there's 12 more TCs because everyone's noticed that there's so many nodes there, on the 4th day there's not as many nodes because there's TCs everywhere. So consider where you put stuff. It's not that hard to run just a little bit. And I mean, I'm not somebody who even uses a mini, but so I can't get around the map very well, like comparative to some other people. But I mean, even still, if I put a teleport spot down, it's off on a hill where nodes aren't spawning, where road signs and barrels aren't spawning, and just be mindful of that. And please, 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 try not to complain about the Bradley situation. We know some people get more kills than others. A lot of those people play our server like no business. They're on it all day long. And I know that because I'm on it all day long. So of course they have more kills than you. They can wait out their timer more than you.
Yeah, the Bradley. I'm sorry, Drake. The Bradley thing's got to stop. Just period. We got to stop talking about it. Like, not admins, just in general. We got to stop discussing Bradleys. Like, that's just the way it is. Sorry.
And I was going to say, the other side is I run to Bradleys. I don't fly. I don't drive. I run. And I still get Bradleys. I've gotten at least 1 Bradley a day this way because of my ability to run to the Bradleys.
And keep in mind, he steps away if he sees a player going after one too.
Yeah.
So
on both sides of the coin, if you know the Bradley's going to spawn there, yeah, go there. But at the same side of it, put things off the beaten path. You can use trees as cover. I do it all the time. I also die a lot. People see that in chat. Trust me. Anyway, beating a dead horse.
I'm gonna skip the next note and go back to it in a second here, because the one after that says leaving external walls behind after raid bases. Same goes with Bradley's too. If you guys keep leaving crap out in the open, I'm sure some of you have seen this now. Our new policy is we're going to bring it back to you, and we're going to stick it right at your front door. And being that an admin placed it down, you won't have the ability to /remove it, and it'll be blocking your front door, and you're going to have to submit a support ticket and look like a fool to get an admin to come out there and take it back down for you. So if you leave your raiding crap out in the wild, we're going to bring it back to your house and block your front door with it. So please stop doing that.
We take glee on this.
Yeah, we actually do. Like, I get mad. Like, we all fly around the map and we get all excited if we find a wall so we can go stick it in somebody's door. So
also as a side note, we do this to each other. I did this to Boomstick the other day.
Yeah.
So it's not just you guys. We will do it to everybody. So.
Hey, so real quick before I move on to my next note, if this is the wrong person, let me know, because people can change their name in Discord. But is that Sweet Feet that I see in the channel? Like, is that for real, Sweet Feet? If it's the real Sweet Feet, man, shout out. That's my old homie right there. Me and him go way back, if that's who it really is. So I see you up there if that's you. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Player retention. We just had a staff meeting, as you all know, and the topic of the staff meeting was player retention. Aliana's doing some surveys to figure out what people like, what they don't like, what's pissing people off, what's not pissing them off. Just know that right now, like I said in the staff meeting, our focus for the last couple months was revamping all the raid bases. We've completed that project. Yes, I know we're still going to buff the loot a little bit, but that doesn't take nearly as much work. Now our next big project is player retention. That is our theme for the next couple months here is player retention. For the most part, that has nothing to do with you guys and nothing you need to work on or do. Just know, though, the part of it that will affect you is if we see toxicity or harassment or any of that kind of stuff. Again, we already don't tolerate that stuff anyway, but we're going to be a little more strict with it. We want to retain the players we have. We've got a pretty good foundation here, a pretty good community going here. We have a lot of players. We like pretty much all of our players. We want to keep all of our players. So the topic for now is player retention with the staff. So just know that that's going to be our primary focus in the month ahead. Moving on to the next. Introduction of the new vanilla server. And hey, Sweet Feet, it's good to see you, bud. Seriously. For those who don't know, man, me and Sweet Feet go way back. One of our first players ever. Actually used to be an admin here way back in the day. Quit playing Rust for a while. Really cool dude, though. That's my boy right there. Introduction to the new vanilla server. As you guys know, we have a vanilla server now. There's not much to say about it. It's basically the space that the Terminus server was taking up doesn't cost me anything. So it's literally it was just an empty dedicated server spot sitting there. So I was like, what the hell? I'll throw a vanilla server up. The reason I did it that way, instead people say, well, why didn't you just keep the Terminus server? Well, that stuff takes time. Anything modded takes a lot of work. I got to update plugins, got to update Oxide, I got to do all this crap. A vanilla server, literally once a month, I click a button to wipe it. It's a proc gen map. I don't have to do any map work. I don't have to do anything. So it literally just takes no work for me whatsoever. And it was an empty slot, so might as well just have it running a server. That's why it's there, just because there's no work and it takes no money to run. So if you guys are bored, feel free to hop over to the vanilla server, have some fun, kill some people. You're not going to get much support over there. Even the admins don't have any powers over there. It's just a pure vanilla server. There's nothing we can do. If somebody's harassing you, if someone's harassing you or being toxic or screaming the N-word or something, of course we'll do something about that. But you know what I'm saying. We're not going to come in there and help you get your backpack or it's just pure vanilla, pure proc gen map, vanilla, no custom, nothing. But you're more than welcome to jump over there and have some fun, kill some people, whatever. It's on a month-long cycle. So just once a month it wipes and resets the blueprints. You got a whole month. So, and that'll be wiping Thursday with everything else. Next. New raid-based submission process outlined. Is this?
I already did it.
This is your notes, isn't it?
Yeah, I already mentioned it. Just it's in the submission channel. I've been so the way that we're doing it is if you get a base, whether it's approved or denied. If it's approved, I just remove it, just so I can keep straight of what I'm doing. And if it's denied, we'll come and talk to you or try to make it right so that we can use it. So just please follow our guidelines. It's all there for you guys. The more bases we have, the less gaming people can do on it. So it's really nice to have a really wide, diverse catalog, and I want to see what you guys can do. So feel free to ask me any questions. Always reach out anytime.
You wanna touch on your skin overhaul since that's the next note?
Yeah. So I put a note in the channel. I know I've been talking about this the last couple meetings. It's a massive project. The spreadsheet's 3,000 rows long so far. Eternal. Is he here? Eternal. Right?
Yeah. It's 3,000 long.
It's a lot of work, and the problem is we don't have a list of what we have. So if we just start removing things willy-nilly, first of all, we may lose something important, and second of all, if somebody really needed that and we need to add it back, we won't know what it was. So I know you guys have had a couple submissions. In the future, I hope it to be more of a situation where you can get your submissions put in really quickly, and it should be that way, but because it's not organized now, it can't be that way. So we'll work on getting that sorted out. It's a pretty big time sink, but I want to get it knocked out. I actually think we're pretty far along at this point, but I don't really have a good time frame. But it's like I said last meeting is I want a situation where it's near Christmas so we can pull in all the Christmas skins. Now Christmas is over, we can pull a bunch of them out and add, Valentine's skins and, just keep going or not. I don't know, PETA, if the Jackhammer skins have modded options
I'll be
yet.
discussing skins in a minute.
Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's something that is my next huge project that I want to work on. Just know it's going to take a lot of time, and it makes more sense for us to do it right because then we never have to do it again.
Raid bases took 3 months. This will probably take at least that.
But
so
we're working on it. It's my current top thing that I want to get taken care of. On top of maintaining everything else that we do. That's it, team.
Okay. Sorry, I was changing the order of my notes a little bit. Okay, so okay, my next note. God, I hate having negative notes, but I got to get through them. So, guys and gals, we are not here to hold your hand. If you leave your base twig or your TC unlocked, you made yourself a victim. If it is blatantly obvious who did it, yes, we will take action, of course. But ultimately, when you specifically leave yourself open to crime, you can't get mad at us. Learn to take responsibility for your own actions or inactions. So what that means in a nutshell is, in my time as a police officer, a lot of the crime we saw, and again, this is not victim blaming, but a lot of the crime we see is, and I hate to compare Rust to real life. It's just what my whole adult life was, and that's all I have to go by here. So, a lot of crime is just by chance. You used to ask people, why'd you do this, or why'd you pick that, or why'd you attack that person, or why'd you do that house? And it was always like, well, because it was there. It was opportunity. It was easy. They left it open, or they were out there by themselves in the middle of the night. So, again, I don't want to victim blame. I hate that. I think that's a rude thing to do. But at the same time, 99% of the problems we have that the players like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then they want to quit our server. It's just terrible. How could they? Because they left themselves open to it. If you leave your front, again, stealing is against our rules, but if you leave your front door open, Sweet Feed, what did I tell you about putting actual pictures of me in chat like that? If you leave your front door wide open and a guy comes in and steals all your shit, yeah, that's against the law. But why was your front door wide open in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Like, you guys got to give us a little here. We have people get so mad, screaming mad at the admins because we can't, help them when their whole base got jacked and we have no idea what happened or whatever. But they left it, a 3-story base, all of twig with an unlocked TC, and it's just, yeah,
and we see it all the time.
We're talking daily. I actually paid Nivix to adjust our plugin. So now when it warns you about twig and locking your TC, it's right in the dead center of your screen in bright red. What else can I do for you guys? I literally slap you in the face with a giant red banner that says lock your TC and upgrade from twig. We can't help you if you don't. And people still don't do it. You guys got to quit letting yourselves be victims. Again, we're here to help you. I want to help you. But 99% of the time, it could have been prevented if you would just listen and not, leave yourself open to opportunities like that. So please, we can't keep holding your hand. Next, another Bradley one. Bradley timers, why they're in place, please, for the love of God, stop with the Bradley stuff. We already discussed it, so I'm not going to touch it again. And then, ironically, my next note says, you guys are killing us with these Bradleys. There's no way to win. Please, people, stop with the Bradley stuff. I'm so tired of Bradleys. All right, moving on. No, I definitely don't want to talk about Brady. Zombot versus Support Bot. So we're seeing a ton of admin requests in Zombot lately. We're seeing. So let's get this out of the way. It says it in the top of the help channel, so it should be pretty obvious. Zombot is just player volunteers. Those are not admins. Those people don't have any admin abilities. They're just people that have played on our server for a long time and know how things work. So they volunteer to answer questions. That's all Zombot is. If you message Zombot for help, that's all the help you're going to get. It's just another player that happens to know our server pretty well. That's it. They can't do anything for you. We're getting people submitting stuff like, help, the whole world's on fire, my whole base got deleted, what's going on? They can't do that stuff for you. You got to go to support bot. They're two completely different systems. And Zombot, not only do most admins have Zombot muted, but the ones that don't have it muted, some of the newer staff that actually used to be, sentinels that answered Zombot stuff, I actually yell at them for answering Zombot because that's not their job. They're past that now. They answer support bot. So Zombot is player volunteers for just basic Rust questions, things that you need help with, things you might need explained, whatever. Support bot is for things that have to have an admin. So you need to know the difference and use the correct one. All you're doing is getting a delay if you submit to the wrong one, because most of us ignore Zombot. But at the same time, it's really irritating when people message support bot for hey, how do I pull up that information page again that I saw when I first logged into the server? Like, come on, you could have just asked that in general chat or asked it to Zombot. So please learn the difference and use the appropriate ones. I hate to be so nitpicky, but we're a pretty busy server and we get a ton of support tickets every day.
There's also a button, help.
What happened?
The button that says help.
Yeah, that too.
Is it right now?
Yeah, it works. The help. The problem with the help button is it's a resolution thing. So like on my screen, the ELP and a little bit to the right of it is where I can click. On my laptop, I have to click like all the way over on the toolbar. So and then if I put my game like in a different resolution, then the help button works perfectly. So it's just a resolution thing. It's almost to the point where I'm just going to delete the help button because I get tired of people asking how to click it. But it's a resolution thing. Moving on to the next one. SIL. Please, guys, it's not a gallery of your... Did someone else put that note in there?
Yeah, that's my note.
Okay, I was like, I don't use the word debauchery.
So, SIL, I know people want to decorate their base, and you should have fun with it. It's your house, and it makes it special to you. We don't have a ton of rules about what we will and won't allow. Obviously, nothing that's racist or homophobic. The same general rules that we have on the server. But there are kids who play on this server. I understand that when you join Rust, you are greeted with a naked person, and we're not going to be rude about some poorly drawn penis, but some of the signs that people have put up on their base out in the open, my God, I mean, they make me clutch my pearls, and I've been on the internet for a while. So I'm just saying, please, if you've got something just horrible, just save it for your own review. We don't need it on display. Even if it's inside your base, someone might raid that sometime, and we don't need to see graphic sexual acts on people's houses. That's my only request.
Yeah, so I've been asked the question a lot, like what's acceptable and not acceptable. I don't know. You guys don't know this. We have a thing that shows us every sign that anyone ever posts. Even if you get rid of it, it still shows us. It's a scrolling log, and we don't have to click the links or nothing. It just shows us pictures. It's like a damn photo gallery. We can see every sign that any of y'all ever put up. Some of y'all need Jesus. Like, let's just be frank. Like, some of y'all need Jesus.
I don't think
now, on the other side of that coin, like she just said, you log into this game and you see a pair of tits in your face. So whatever. I mean, my kid plays this game right now. Hell, he might even be in the channel right now. I haven't looked. Nope, he's not in here. Good. He's not hearing me cuss. Anyway, so my kid plays the game. I don't want him seeing crap like that either. But the point being is you log into the game, you see a pair of tits. So there's some things I'm fine with. Some boobs, some butts, whatever. But let's not get some graphic sexual stuff going on here. Or let's not get, I don't want swastikas and Hitler stuff. And let's be real here, people. Like, whatever the hell you got going on in your messed up brain that makes you want to post, Nazi symbols all over the place and furry sex, like keep that in your bedroom or keep that in your house. We don't need it in our server. And again, like I said, on the other side of that, you want to put some tits on the wall in your house, go ahead, whatever. You see them in the game anyway. I'm not a total prude. Trust me. I don't want you looking at my browser history either, but let's keep it at least halfway tasteful, please. Moving on to the next. You guys keep adding notes as I'm going. That's not fair. That's cheating.
Sorry.
Going on to the next one. Upcoming initiatives. Okay, so I discussed this the last meeting. Our developer is taking his time on this one, but we are developing some new cool stuff. We're developing the ability for zombie hordes to raid you. Don't get too freaked out. I'm going to have it set to where they only mess with you if you're online. They're not going to raid you while you're offline. I also am going to have it configurable where I can set the maximum building grade that they can damage, and most likely will just be set to wood. So basically, in a nutshell, what it means is, if you're running from a zombie horde and you go jump inside your wooden base and shut the door, you're going to get a chainsaw to the door, and the zombies are going to try to break in. I'm going to set it so that they cannot damage foundations. I think that would be a little unfair if a zombie horde foundation wiped you. I'm going to have other fail safes in the plugin too. If you're not on the TC, it won't damage the base. That'll keep people from using it to try to grief other people's bases and stuff like that. But the point being is, I want them to be scary. I did a little experiment the other night, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But I will tell you, for the first time, I finally got to be on the ground like a player. Those zombie hordes are freaking terrifying, man. I tell you what, they are freaking terrifying. And that's good. That's what I want them to be. I didn't even realize how terrifying they were, but they are pretty terrifying. And now they're going to start raiding your base. So, haha. I'm pretty excited about that. What else we got? NPCs and bases. We're working on NPCs in the bases. We had a little jerry rig for a while there where we can get them to spawn in chairs and stuff, but it had an issue with them trying to mount to other things. Like they're like college kids. They just want to mount everything. So they were trying to mount, the video games and all that kind of stuff. And it started causing all kinds of errors with the plugin. So we had to disable that real quick. It's not off the table. We're still working on it. We're going to get NPCs inside the actual bases. I think that'll add an awesome dynamic to the raid bases. So just know in the future, you bust into that base, there may be somebody waiting inside. Yeah, the really early ones had those, but what's funny, Doc, is what most people don't know is back then, I was actually behind the scenes, hand making and hand spawning every single raid base and every single NPC in those raid bases 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I didn't tell anybody, but that was me the whole time, manually doing that for every single raid base we had on the server for many, many months.
And the minute he was able to get rid of that plugin and use the plugin we have currently, the sigh of relief from that man was insane.
Yeah. Sweet Feet, you were around back then. Yeah, he didn't even know that. That was me the whole time, literally flying around the map, manually putting down raid bases, manually putting down the zone around them so you could fight them, manually spawning all the NPCs inside of them. That was me every single day of my life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank God I'm over that. Your server donation dollars hard at work, because now it's all automated thanks to y'all's donations, actually. So why am I going to give Drac a raise? He didn't do all that. All right, so moving on. Discuss vanilla skin situation. Okay, so as you guys know, God, I'm so freaking tired of this. There's a conflict right now with Oxide in Windows. Oxide would be what lets you modify a Rust server. If you don't have Oxide, you have a vanilla server. If you have Oxide, you can install plugins. That's how Rust works. Right now, there's a conflict. I'm telling you, I've even had good friends of mine. One of you is in this channel right now. I've even had really good friends of mine. Are you sure? I've been on other servers. How it works for them, but I promise you, this is straight. I'm in a Discord. I'm not even allowed to talk about because supposedly they'll kick you out of it if you tell anybody about it. I'm in a Discord with Facepunch developers. I promise you, it is a conflict between Oxide and Windows servers. There's nothing I can do about it. It's being worked on. I'm sorry. There's just nothing else I can do about it. We even after being told that, just because I was like, yeah, but that's not fair. How come some server, because those servers aren't running Oxide in Windows? First of all, Windows runs Rust better. We used to be on Linux. We had to switch to Windows because, believe it or not, I know it's backwards to what most gaming servers run, but believe it or not, Windows runs a lot more efficiently with Rust than Linux does. So we had to switch once our servers started getting popular. But even then, I was like, that's not fair. I'm so tired of players bitching about this. Let me try something. Me and Zap, we went and we set up a mirror image of our server, total mirror image. We literally just copied it, just like we did when we made the light server. We copied it over. We then went into the plugin directory. We deleted every single plugin in the directory, right? Started installing them one by one until we could, figure out what was breaking the skins. We installed every plugin, still the same problem. Then we tried it again on the Linux box. We deleted every single plugin. Suddenly the skins worked. We were like, oh my God, wait a minute, maybe it was a plugin. So then I started feeling guilty, like maybe I've been lying to these guys all this time. So then we started installing the plugins back again on the Linux box. Skin still worked. Skin still worked. All 90 plugins installed and the skins still worked. So what's the common denominator there? We tried it on the Windows box, never worked. Even with no plugins, never worked. We tried it on the Linux server box, all 90 plugins, the skins work just fine. Like I said, it's a conflict between Oxide and Windows. It's being worked on. The owner of Oxide, Wolf, I'm sure a lot of you guys in the Rust community know who Wolf is. He literally sent us a test, Oxide version one day, and it looked like it got him fixed for a second there, and sure enough, it wasn't though. So they're still not fixed. Whatever the problem is, it's a communication problem. So basically, every couple minutes, Oxide queries the Steam workshop or something like that. If you're an admin, you can see it. As a matter of fact, our admin's in the channel right now. If you ever watch the vanilla server, you'll see it go by. It'll say query Steam something query. And the reason it's working on that server, even though it's on Windows, is because Oxide's not installed. It's a vanilla server. Anyway, whatever it is, Oxide is stopping it from communicating with the Steam workshop. We don't know why. There's nothing we can do about it. We're not the developers of Oxide. As soon as that's fixed, I promise you it's going to get installed. I just sent more messages to the guys at Oxide a couple days ago about this. Like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing players complain about this. Please get it fixed. And they're trying. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not all skins. It's just some skins. I don't know why. I don't know what makes it decide which ones to work and which ones not to work. But man, I try the back door every time, dude. I just cannot figure out why it's not working, for some, and it is for others, but it's an Oxide thing. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. And it's not just us. In that secret Discord I was just talking about, basically it's the top 500 servers. They get invited to this private Discord. There's tons of server owners in there bitching about it. So it's not just us, I promise. Okay, moving on. Yeah, this basically is just touching on the same stuff we touched on earlier with the toxicity, with the PvP. Just stop with the toxicity. We're going to start muting people or banning people if we have to. Okay, now for the big note. I'm just going to read this one just like it is. So, death is literally the only obstacle in PvE. You do not get raided. You do not get looted when you die. You don't get offlined. You don't have to watch your back when you're farming. You even get to keep your backpack when you die, etc., etc. You all need to understand we have to have a negative thing to counterbalance all the positives. You get teleporting, vehicles, easy loot, easy farming, warps, /home, personal recyclers. Your backpacks don't drop. You get all this crap. There has to be a balance. This is not a sandbox creative mode Minecraft server. Death should be something that's feared. Your heart rate should increase when your screen graphics start to get all wonky because you're low on health and you have a zombie horde chasing you. That's how we want it to be. You should get nervous and careful when you're round a corner in a custom monument or a raid base. It should be your first thought on everything you do. I need to make sure I don't die while I'm doing this. This is literally the only obstacle that we can do in a PvE setting, giving you challenges that could kill you and seeing how well you overcome those challenges with the fear of losing your RP and Z levels hanging over your head. Z levels are not a right, they're a perk, a very valuable perk that players need to fear losing. This is not one of those easy 3-time servers. It sure can be if you're careful and you don't die a lot. This is not going to change. I'm a firm believer that in a PvE video game, death is literally the only thing that can challenge you completely. There needs to be consequences for dying, great consequences. I try to do all I can to please my player base here, but asking me to lighten up on the death penalties is just against my standards on the server. I've caved a lot to suggestions and requests over the years, but I have a few things that I specifically want this server built around. And one of those core principles is that death should have major consequences. This is a survival game, not a creative game. So it's a huge complaint. Literally have had people quit our server because they don't want to lose Z levels when they die and stuff. I know you guys love your Z levels. I want you to love your Z levels. That's why I take them away from you when you die, is because you love them so much. First of all, let me explain the Z level loss in the first place. the longer you stay alive, the less you lose. So if you stay alive long enough, you don't lose anything. So I mean that sounds like common sense in a PvE survival game, right? The longer you stay alive, the less penalty you have. You can always type /stats, STATS, to see what your current penalty is when you die. It's never a whole Z level. I don't know why people always think they lose multiple Z levels when they die. That's just not true. You lose a percentage of experience. You can get really high up. We have a lot of people that have quit our server because, I want to go to a 3-time server. I want to go to a whatever times 2-time server. Our server can be that literally in one night. The first night playing on our server, you can already have it up to like a 2 or a 3-time server. But the trick is, don't die. And I'm not going to change that. I've even had admins complain about this, not about, well, you should get rid of the Z level penalty, but even them, maybe we should lighten up a little bit, with the Z level penalties and people dying. No, that is the literal point of this game. It's a survival game. What's the point of a survival game? To survive. So you have to have punishment for dying. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to cave on that. It's just, I don't know what else to say about it. That's just all there is to it. I did a little experiment the other night. Because of this, hold on one second. My wife is calling me. She knows I have a server meeting. I did a little experiment the other night because, like I said, because an admin was even saying, maybe we should tone it down a little bit. Maybe it's too hard. It's, people can't get their Z levels high enough, and they'd rather have a 2-times or a 3-times server. So I played the other night. I actually logged in on the light server secretly, and I played like a normal player. I started off butt naked with a rock. I typed /kit, got my starter kit. Typed /kit, got my supply drop. Nothing else. Went out there and just started pounding nodes like crazy. The first thing I did was get enough sulfur. I saw somebody selling a jackhammer on the map for some sulfur, bought it from them. Hell, you might even be in this channel. I don't remember if somebody remembers seeing a drone come to their thing and buy a jackhammer off them. But I bought a jackhammer, started going to town. So I played for 3 hours. At the beginning of my playtime, I took a picture of my playtime on the screen. At the end of it, I took another picture. I played for 3 hours, and I was almost to playing on a 3-time server. I had my Z levels high enough to where I was getting great return. I even died a couple times. I did an easy raid base. I prim raided an easy raid base. I died to a zombie horde, hence me telling you how terrifying the zombie hordes are. The point being is, it's not that hard. Just don't die. Yeah, that's where all the nodes went. I was on the light server. So the point is, don't die. There's a couple things that made it easier for me. I was on the light server, for instance, so there's obviously more stuff to farm. But anyway, the point being is, by the end of that 3 hours, I had rockets researched. I had a T3 bench. I had dozens of satchels that I had used some to raid with. I had done all kinds of stuff in just 3 hours. So it's not that hard. In my Z levels, again, I was already technically playing on a 2-time server with my Z levels at the rate they were at after just 3 hours of playing and 2 deaths. So no, I'm not nerfing that stuff. You guys have to have a penalty for death. I ran my ass off the second zombie horde I saw because I didn't want to lose the Z levels, because I knew I was trying to prove a point and get my Z levels nice and high, and I was scared I was going to lose one. So yeah, you need to fear death. That's all there is to it. I hate to be so long-winded on this subject, but the fact that people, don't want to lose things when they die is just ridiculous in a PvE setting. Like, it's just ridiculous. So you're going to keep losing them. Any admins have anything to touch on with all that?
Just the perk of that, the one good thing that came out of the conversation about the map things that you're gonna do.
Oh, it's not going to be drastic. So you're more than welcome to announce that, but it will not be drastic. It'll be a little bit.
I didn't want to steal your thunder. So the one thing that did come out of that conversation that some of the people who I heard from and are struggling with it, which by the way, I'm the admin who brought it up, is that we are going to be looking to add more node areas to the map. I know on main it gets hard to find nodes. We play on main just like you guys do, and I know it's hard to find nodes. That said, don't just think, I'll only go farm in the snow. There's about 17 teleport spots right around the snow area on the map right now. And every time that I go over there to farm it, I see at least 4 other players. And so I leave and go to somewhere else on the map. There are hidden areas in this map that are good, but you can't see them because there's trees in the way. So explore a little bit, find your new path, and hopefully the new maps will have, or the new node areas will be plentiful for y'all.
Trees are your friends, folks. I haven't farmed in the snow at all this wipe, and I have more than enough.
There's tons of nodes out there, and it has nothing to do with biome. So yeah, there's tons of nodes.
Just to chime in too, like a little bit kind of in regards to all this as well, like don't be comparing yourselves to like the clans or anything like that, because like the groups and the clans that are out there running stuff, whatever, like they're gonna get a lot more than you as a solo. And so like you may get like up to like level 10 with your Z levels, whatever, and be like, oh my god, yeah, or be like, man, this sucks because these clans have full metal bases and I'm just barely getting by with stone. It's like having a group of people with that is better than having just one person, because imagine having 5 people that are basically on a 3 times compared to one person on a 2 times. Like you're gonna have a huge difference as well. Like there are loads of nodes. Like I fly around the map all the time just with radar turned on looking at nodes, and I see people like, there's not sulfur on the map, there's no metal on the map, I can't find any nodes, and I'm like, I'm looking at 15 nodes right now. So they are out there.
Also on that same note, just remember, guys, like stop and smell the roses. When I was doing my little 3-hour experiment the other night playing, it was boring. I did not have fun at all because I was just power grinding. You know, I was just powering through, trying to get Z levels, trying to get as much ore as I could, trying to get as much scrap as I could. I was powering, power grinding through, and that was just not fun. Like, stop and smell the roses. We have such cool content on these maps and so many things to do. Like, I don't remember whatever that group was last night. We were watching them run. We watched them run Playland, and then we watched them run Red October. That is what I'm talking about right there. I don't even remember what clan that was. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Dojo and then
Dojo.
random.
Yeah, you guys made me smile so much because you just looked like you were having fun. You guys were acting like you're in some military, excursion. Just watch it. You guys just look like you're having a blast. You guys really looked like you were having a blast. So, and you know what? It didn't seem like you cared about the loot or nothing. It just seemed like you were legitimately having a good time, running around with some friends, getting scared for your life, running from zombies and NPCs, and just having a good time. That's this. I think in this, it's not just you people on our server. It's just the world in general right now with gamers. Is I think the way games have gone recently in the time, it's almost like jobs now. I think it honestly started with World of Warcraft, but they've turned into jobs now where like you just work, 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 and the only thing you show for it is how much you've acquired. It shouldn't be like that. Go have fun. Like, please, just go have fun. Go out there and play the game. Especially in Rust, it all wipes in 10 days. Like, who cares what you amass? Go out there and experience it and have some fun. If you knew how much blood, sweat, and tears we put into these maps and these monuments and these plugins for you guys to have fun with, just so you can go out there and see how many millions of stone and sulfur you can gather up. Like, no, go have some fun, please. Yeah, be social. Have some. We got a great community. I mean, hell, have you guys played on other Rust servers before? Like, we've got a really awesome community here. Even the staff, we get down there and we shoot the shit with you guys and talk with you guys. And hell, I'll run a damn monument with you. I don't care. Like, have some fun. If I had time last night, I would have literally strapped a gun on and joined those guys. Like, just have some fun, please. Yeah, just I don't know how you guys do it. I did it for 3 hours last night, powering through Rust, and that was boring. Like, stop and smell the roses. That's my point. All right, moving on to my next topic. I don't want to keep you guys all night. Now my wife keeps calling me. So, zombie horde loot buff incoming. I'm going to be tweaking the zombie horde loot soon. They are terrifying. I discovered that in my experiment. They've already got good loot anyway, as you all know. I think I'm going to take some of the trash out and maybe add a couple new things in that aren't in there yet. Some of the newer stuff, because I made those loot tables a long ass time ago. So zombie horde loot buff is incoming. So just give you a little good news there. Yeah, you can get great stuff off of them. But again, I'm going to get rid of some of the trash, add a little bigger stacks of some of the good stuff, stuff like that. Skin issues, we already discussed that. Aliana, you want to hit your feedback survey real quick?
Oh yeah, so I already kind of dropped it once. I'll drop it again. So like T-Bird said, we're looking at retention. And obviously, I mean, we want to hear from people who are still here because we want to know what you like and what you don't. And it doesn't mean it's always going to make a change, but it does mean that, we're not out of touch with you guys, and so that's important. That said, we also are wanting to hear from players who aren't around. So if you have friends that aren't playing in here anymore, we'd really be interested to know why. A lot of the players that I've reached out to so far have been like, oh, well, I'll be coming back eventually. I know there's a lot going on in the world of gaming right now, and especially survival gaming, and I know that real life comes up, and I know that Rust can, kind of get dry. But in general, I mean, if there's something that you're like, man, it's perfect, except and we see enough of that, I mean, it may result in a change. And so I wanted to give people an option to provide feedback, and you can even do it anonymously. Of course, you're always welcome to contact us in SupportBot and have a full conversation with us. But if you've got some time, please fill out the survey. We're getting a lot of really good ideas from people, and I don't know if we're going to be able to implement some of them, but it's exciting, and it's something that kind of gives us something to work towards. So really liking hearing from the folks that have contacted us. And by the way, this isn't an opportunity to just kiss our butts. There's nothing that you're going to get for this survey. We're not giving RP like we did on the last time we did a survey. It's just to help us improve everyone's, playability and experience. So please fill it out if you've got a few minutes. And if you don't, that's okay too. No harm, no foul. We just want to hear from y'all.
Okay, next note. I promise this is the last negative note on my list. Camera bases and other harassment type things. Stop. Just stop. You know who you are. This whole, again, it goes back to the PvP drama. Like, y'all just stop fighting with each other. I went and I just nuked them. I didn't leave a note on your body. I didn't give you your resources back. In a nutshell, for the rest of the players, there's people that don't like each other because of PvP. So some people put these just towers up all around their enemies' bases with cameras facing them, and sometimes people do it with spotlights just to be a dick. They'll put spotlights at people's bases just to be jerks. Like, I'm not trying to call out just the camera based guy. It's just the most recent one. It was last night. Stop harassing each other. Like, my God, people, please stop. I see crap like that. I'm just deleting it. I'm not giving you nothing back. I'm just deleting it. And that's what I did last night. I must have nuked 12 of them things. And it's not just, one person puts them up and the other person puts something up in retaliation, and it's back and forth. And what's funny is the one last night I'm talking about, I must have deleted 20 structures that were literally no other purpose than to troll and piss off the person they don't like. And they were all built on that giant island that I added to the map to provide more open land for raid bases to spawn on. Like, that's where they decided to do this to each other. Like, are you serious? Like, do you know how many hours I spent making that island just for raid bases? And then you guys going, like, come on, we're all adults here for the most part. Can we please start acting like it? I know you guys got your little vendettas against each other. Let's just cut it out on all sides. This is not calling out a person, a clan, a group, nothing. This is calling out everyone as a player. Stop harassing each other. Stop trolling each other. It just has no part on our server. If you want to do that kind of stuff, pretty much every other Rust server in the world allows it. We don't. Just stop harassing each other. Remember my golden rule at the very top of our rules channel. If you don't want someone doing it to you, don't do it to someone else. And if it's something that you wouldn't do if an admin was floating over your shoulder, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. So just remember that. That's our golden cover everything rule. And it's not just putting up cameras. It's surrounding someone's base with 15 structures, all having cameras and stuff pointed at their base, just trying to troll them and piss them off. It's totally different than just a camera. Like, hell, I put a camera in the damn toilet on this map. It's not just the camera. It's what they're doing.
To add on to that too, like we said earlier, like, we're gonna start banning for that stuff too. Like, if we see it constantly from the same guy, you might go to log in one day and, oh, I can't log in, I'm banned. And like that's something we're looking at, just to try and curb the toxicity, because that's a very toxic thing to do.
It just falls under the same umbrella of the escalating patterns of behavior between the people who are having tiffs from various PvP things. I mean, and like I said earlier, some of this goes back wipes and wipes and wipes. And it traces back to a confusion or a miscommunication, and it just, I know that it helps to, develop the story and the revenge and the PvP aspect of Rust that makes it so much fun going after your enemies and having bad guys and good guys. And you can still have all of that stuff privately. It's more when it comes down to actual interference with other players, and surrounding someone's bases and TCs, even if they don't have cameras on them, is exactly interference with players. And the other note to mention there is it goes against our build rules as well, because when you place a TC down, that means that a raid won't ever be able to spawn within 75 meters of that. And that's what we keep adding more areas to the map for, and unfortunately it coincides with what players want to build on as well, and it just puts us in a position where we risk running out of raids every single wipe. I mean, it's not a good situation. That's why we're so hard about random shit left on the map as well.
If you want to take a moment, look at the main server, look at how many raid bases are there. Log out, go to light. Look at how many bases are there. Now I understand that the light server we have more raid bases spawning, but just the difference in number alone, you'll see where raid bases are spawning, and they're not spawning on the main server because people have built there.
Well, and where they spawn too. I mean, you force it out to places that aren't great, you get NPCs and water.
I mean, what was the couple maps ago, whatever, where we literally ran out of raid base spawns?
Yeah, we had to go around deleting random stuff. Like,
yeah,
we spent days doing that too.
Spread out, clean your stuff up. If you're building a base, don't go tossing a bunch of like your deployables out and about. Like I've seen so many bases where it's like 5 foundations away from their base, they have their water catchers. I'm like, why? You could literally put those right next to your base. They function the exact same. Rust doesn't care about like location. You could build over a water catcher. Technically, it's still going to catch water.
Not only that, but raid bases cannot spawn on more than a 2.5 degree incline. So that's like 80% of the map that they cannot spawn on. But the funny thing is, players can only seem to build on less than a 2.5 degree incline. I don't get why. So, if you're building up on hilly areas or mountains or rocks or even just hills, like even literally just little hills, you can build all you want because you're not going to interfere with the raid bases. They need flat land to spawn on. And for some reason, players just suck it all up. And it's all gone. You go on the light server, they get 20 plus raid bases at a time spawning. A main server only gets like 8 to 10. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they don't want you guys over there. Never mind. They don't have any raid bases on light. It's just a myth. Yeah, I was gonna
just
make
like the nodes on
we
light.
should just run the build server map. It's just all flat. All right, so moving on. We're almost done, people. I promise. I know this is dragging on. My wife's yelling at me because I didn't run to the grocery store. Server info has a main, light, vanilla roles that you can choose from now. It kind of marks you as what your main server is. If you click on the server info channel in our Discord, you'll see you can click on whichever role that you want to flag yourself as that's your main server. And you can also, you can change it anytime you want. It'll automatically, so if you click light and you had main, it'll take away the main and give you light as your main server. So it'll rotate the roles. But it just kind of helps us when you submit a support ticket. It shows us your roles. So if you have that role selected, we know what server you're on already. It could be used for other things eventually. Maybe we'll make a channel specifically for main server chat, light server chat, whatever. But at least then you can flag yourself as what server you main on. So it's in the server info channel in our Discord. Moving on to the next. This will be a quick one. Admin calls in chat. We're seeing a lot more of that lately. People, admin in chat. You're wasting your time. Just submit a support ticket. I understand new players are going to do that because they don't know. But you veterans that are just like, hey, admin, any admins on? It doesn't matter if we're on because we're not watching chat 24 hours a day. We're usually behind the scenes working on plugins or raid bases or maps or whatever. So you're literally accomplishing nothing by asking in chat, any admin on? Go straight to support bot every time. Just hit support bot. There we are. It just does no good. You're just wasting your time. So, and if you see new players doing it, tell them the same thing. Hey, hit support bot. They'll get back to you real quick. I promise.
On that note too, though, like if you do need an admin and you do type in chat because you're just freaking out because I fell onto the map, tell us what's going on. Like
Yeah,
if I
don't just say
I
admin.
on the map, or hey, this player is being super toxic, like I'm more likely to, like, I might notice that and be like, oh, let me jump over there real quick. But like if I'm busy like playing the game or something like that, or any of the admins are busy actually playing the game, we might not notice it.
Yeah, you definitely got to
we
tell us too.
tend
Even
to
with
ignore
support
that.
bot, even with support bot, you got to tell us what's wrong. You wouldn't believe how many tickets we get. Help.
Help.
We had one flirting with the support bot before. Like it's insane. So just like we used to tell people, when you call 911, again, I know I always go back to police stuff, but when you call 911, the first thing you got to get out is your location, your name, and what you need. Period. And it's ironically, it's the same thing here. We need to know what server you're on, what your in-game name is, and what the problem is. If those three things aren't in the first message that you send to support bot, you just delayed getting yourself help, because now we have to ask you one of those three questions. So location, name, what you need. And don't just say, can you TP to me? Or can you come look at this? Or can you come here? No. What do you need? We need to know what you need first. Yes, someone actually flirted with support bot. And it was like, are you the hot staff member? Like, what? It's a bot, dumbass. All right, so moving on to the last note here. We have 3 new staff members. I'd like to give a round of applause or a welcome to 3 new staff that are in training right now. Would be Hawk, Virus, and Jess. The reason I'm speaking so slowly is I'm scrolling in the list to see if they're even in here. Yes, they are. Good. All right, so we have 3 new suckers, yeah, as Doc would tell you. They're in training right now, so bear with them as they learn the ropes. I'm sure they can vouch. There is a ton behind the scenes. I mean, just even listening to their training last night while I was working, even my head was spinning. I'm just like, my God, is it really that complicated being an admin here? It is. That's all there is to it. So there's a ton. Bear with them. Minty, Doc, some ex staff members of ours, not on bad terms. They just, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of ex staff members, because it's definitely a ton of work. But they can tell you there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. It is really hard work. And the reason I'm telling you this is just bear with these new people. Oh, Baby Bear too. Yep. Bear with these people. It's a lot to learn. 6 months from now, they still won't know it all. And chaos. Damn, we got a lot of people in here tonight. Look at that. It's a ton. Yeah. All these people in chat right now that you're seeing, they can vouch for you. It is a ton of work. It is a ton to learn. Even the lead admins are learning new stuff still. It's insane. So bear with them.
Stuff.
Yeah, so much stuff. Bear with them. Round of applause for them. They're volunteering their time to help you guys out. It's not an easy thing to do. So anybody that volunteers to help like that should definitely receive some thanks from the players.
Also, I'd like to back in this, for those people that answer questions in chat, the old staff, the old admins, some of the veterans, thank you. That does help us.
God, thank you.
So the last 2 months where we're getting slammed, on wipe days and things like that, and you guys are helping the new players answer questions and shit like that, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Minty, Baby Bear, Doc, Chaos. Yeah, I'm glad you're coming back around too, man. I missed you, bud. You guys really provide us a ton of help answering those questions, and you guys have firsthand knowledge about that kind of stuff. So obviously, there's certain policy things you can't answer because things have changed over the months. But at least you're filtering out a lot of the BS questions that we just don't need to have to answer. So we appreciate that a lot. And that leaves me on my final note. We are still hiring. Aliana handles all that. I don't know if you want to say anything, but we are still hiring.
Not much. Just if you want to apply, there's scroll up in announcements, and the whole process is there. If you've got questions, contact us in support bot. We have goals and dreams of having just nobody ever has to be worried about anybody, and just always be there to help, and we want to actualize that. So feel free to contact us, and if you're tentative, feel free to contact us and apply to be a sentinel. The sentinel training is about 10 minutes long, and it's just a new Discord channel, and it's something that you can help us out and kind of be involved with the process of helping players. And yeah, we really appreciate everybody, by the way, volunteering, and also the players who, don't necessarily want to take on the full role, but are super helpful. Just thank you guys so much. This is a great community.
All right. So I gotta move back here. Sorry, I'm getting pings all over the place. I gotta get back to the right channel here. Okay, so that's done with my notes. So the first thing we usually do at the end here is we'll start with the leads and then move on down from there. Any leads? Want to take the floor?
I don't have anything to say because you let me speak in the middle of everything you were saying.
Okay, Drake, you good?
Pretty much the same thing. Guys, just keep an eyeball out on announcements and updates in the Discord for various updates and announcements. There may be some things changing in the maps coming up that you may really want to know about.
Oh,
Those will
yeah,
be up in the update logs.
you might want to watch those update logs because I'm going to tell you right now, if I get support tickets next wipe about something, I'm just going to close them out. So yeah, definitely
Just the
follow that.
heads.
Follow that update log. That's a big hint. Follow that update log. Something is happening on the next map, and you're going to want to know about it. Follow the update log.
I'm good otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got so many people messaging me and stuff right now. Hold on. That Eternal. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on down to the admins now. Any admins need the floor?
Yeah, I got one small thing.
Go ahead.
So just in the future, just for people's knowledge, like if you do something and end up banned or kicked from the server or muted or anything like that, and it pisses you off, it is much better to come to us with like a nicer attitude than to come to us all pissed off. If you come to us all pissed off, start calling us names and cussing and all this, we're likely to just ignore you or let the ban ride or even extend the ban and make it permanent. So just be aware, like if we ban you, like we might be having an off day or something, got pissed off at something, or you like might have done something that we felt was wrong, or you might have actually done something wrong, and so we got rid of you. Like T said previously, like we've allowed people back that have done some really bad things just because they came to us with a good attitude. So if you ever end up banned, if you come to us with a good attitude, you're more likely to like just get the ban lifted than anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you straight up. Believe it or not, there is nothing on this server that is automatically and irreversibly a permanent ban. Now there are some things that are, a permanent ban, but nothing's irreversible. I have banned someone for screaming the N-word, and the way he appealed his ban and acted, and even then, I gave him, till the end of wipe, you're still banned, and then when you come back, I'll give you like this many days to try out. But he took it all like a champ. On wipe day, 1:59 p.m. I'm here to give it another try. Blah blah blah. Can I be on? Sure enough, so that was for screaming the N-word at me. I'm married to a black woman. I don't appreciate that. Screaming that at me, still got unbanned and came back and played on the server. So there's nothing that's permanent or irreversible. Period. And honestly, if you get banned or if you get perma banned, it's on you. Period. That's all there is to it. Now, sometimes, like Mac just said, we're human beings. We have bad days. Hell, I do all the time. That's all I do is work. Trust me, I'm always in a bad mood. Or if you post Tom Brady pictures, I may ban you for that. So whatever, you know, we're trying to work on, incrementally dealing with problem players and not just instantly banning people and stuff like that. But the thing is there's nothing you can't come back from. If you get banned or if you get in trouble, just come talk to us maturely, calmly. Understand we're dealing with thousands of players. We're not just trying to pick on you.
And in support bot, not in our DMs.
Yeah, not in our
Please
DMs, period.
send it to support bot.
I'm going to tell you right now that I personally, if this was a monarchy, I would not allow any of my staff to even have DMs turned on. I can't do that. This is not a monarchy. I'm not a dictator or whatever. The staff can tell you I hate when they even answer DMs. They get in trouble with me when they answer your DMs. In game, out of game, period. Aliana likes to deal with DMs, so we let it go. But just understand that is not where you appeal a ban. That is not where you bitch about a ban. That's not where you do anything. Come to support bot.
And if you come to us in a DM and we tell you, please put this in the support bot, and it's not that we're trying to blow you off. It's that is for us and for you. So we have a log, you have a log. You know exactly what's going on at that point when we talk to you, and at the same side of it, we know exactly what's going on. and we can both go back and look at it. So if there's something that was either misunderstood and or needed to be said again, it could be.
As
So
well, like our process for like overturning a ban is to let the person who banned you make the decision for the most part. Like we might talk internally about it, see if like we think it's a reasonable ban. But at the end of the day, like T doesn't want to step on our toes and is like, hey, I'll stick by my admins. What they decide, it goes.
And if I could, one more thing. We're all volunteers. I don't think anybody who's gonna attend these server meetings needs to hear it, but it's people sometimes are just absolutely horrible to us. And there have been times that I've banned people that I actually really felt super bad about, but I had to do it because of the circumstances around it. And they were really mad at me, but I was trying to explain how they should do it. And it goes back to what I said earlier, which is, you know, it's not tattling to report people who are messing with you. If we instead have them report you for retaliating, then we come down on you because we don't have any proof that they did anything wrong because you didn't submit it to us. So just keep it in mind. I mean, a lot of times, like, we're all reasonable people. We'll hear you out. We'll hear your side of the story, and oftentimes we'll be sympathetic to you. But if it doesn't go down the right way, we have to act the way that we would for anybody. We're mostly reasonable people.
A lot of TCs.
All right. Any other admins have anything they want to throw out there on the floor?
Yeah, just a very small thing too.
Yep.
Uh,
Wait, you're not gonna wait. You're not gonna nuke the whole meeting, are you?
Probably.
Okay.
Hey, all, Azul. Hey, so I think I'm pretty laid back with everybody here, but I have one pet peeve, and that's what you guys do at the end of admin events or during admin events by throwing flares, smoke grenades, rockets, and everything at the end of these things, and kind of jacking things up or taking loot out of turn and stuff. I'm just asking if that can be tuned down a little bit. If we do a big admin event and everybody has a great time and it's ended with everyone shooting rockets at each other and kind of ruining what's going on, it ruins the whole event or the experience of it. So I'm just saying, turn the troll down a little bit. I mean, that's it.
All right. And like I said in chat just now, like 99% of the players at these events actually, I was in that secret Discord I was talking about. I was bragging the other day to Face Punch. I had a picture of all of you sitting perfectly still at that last event. I was like, have you ever seen this many players sitting still in Rust? So you guys actually are pretty damn cool. But yeah, he's right. I mean, we had a couple people throwing smoke grenades and stuff last time. Like, just cut that shit out.
It used to take a lot longer for us to get your shit to you.
Yeah, it did.
It's gotten a lot more streamlined and a lot quicker. We like to keep it that way. I don't want to have to go back to 2 hours of us sitting there going, okay, now all the loot splits, and now I got to get it to the player.
All right.
It kind of just reminded me of one thing too.
Yep.
Like, so at that event, like we had to tell somebody to leave and they didn't. So like that brings me to the mindset of like, if we tell you to like stop something, if like you're starting shit in chat, whatever, and it's just very, very trivial or whatever, but we tell you to stop, just stop. Don't continue like chatting. If you tell us to tell one person to stop whatever, and you were going to reply to them and be a little bit trolly or toxic or whatever, and we told them to stop, that goes for you too. Like that goes for anyone chatting at the time. Like we say stop, just stop what you're doing, don't continue, because like as much as we'll ban you or mute you or whatever, like we don't want to. Like we'd rather you play the server, have a good time, but at the same time we're gonna have to crack down on people. So
yeah, that came up in the staff meeting earlier, is trying to figure out how to deal with the drama and a lot of the PvP toxicity. And I told my staff, I was like, well, look, just do like I do, because we all know if I get in chat and type in all caps, stop, quit talking or quit arguing or shut up or whatever, people listen. They do. Everybody just, oh, T's here. Everybody shut up now. But that shouldn't be the case. I'm not any better or more important than the rest of the staff is. So if my staff or admins ask you to stop, just like Matt just said, just please stop. Like, we're not doing it to be jerks. We're not doing it to try to exert control over you. We're doing it to try to squash the situation before it snowballs out of control. So if we ask you to stop, like he said, just stop. Please show them the same respect that you guys show me, which it is. It's great respect. I know if I get in chat and put all caps, enough, people actually listen and they stop. So can you please show that same respect to the rest of my staff? I would greatly appreciate it. Any other admins have anything?
Yep, boomstick.
Oh yeah.
Block your TCs. Twig can be broken. And don't forget your upkeep.
Anybody else?
I do.
What you got?
It's Nib. I just like to say hi T, your account.
There it is.
I feel like everyone expects me to do it now, so there you go.
I was wondering if that was going to come up. All right. Anybody else? Admins?
I do. This is a little off topic. It's not really related to the meeting, but after the meeting, there is going to be an event going on. So stick around for more info on that.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry, this has been a really long one. We had a lot of notes this month. As you know, with the OTV thing, our server got slammed over the last month. So the more players means the more things that come up, and the more things that come up means the more notes I have for the meeting. So that's all. Any other admins? Got anything at all?
All good here.
What you got?
I said I'm all good.
Okay. Staff members, we only got 3. They're all, you guys are less than 12 hours old, so I don't know that you would have anything. But if you do, here's your chance. New staff. All right. They shy. Okay. Now we're going to move to player questions. So if everybody could chill in the meeting chat channel, because that way we can get through this nice and quickly. I'm sure most of you are about sick of hearing me talk. So if you have a question, ask it in chat there. Go slowly. Please don't chatter in between them, because I can only scroll so fast. I'm old. It's hard for me to read. I'm illiterate.
I've slowed down the chat too. So
okay, cool.
It's 15 seconds now.
All right. So you mentioned this. Let me read what Stress says here. Oh yeah, I didn't touch on the rail system. So the problem is the rail system, like ProcGen maps there's algorithms that generate a map. That's what procedurally generated maps is. So these new tunnel systems, just like the ring road and all the other stuff Facepunch throws in, they don't have to do anything with that. Once it's programmed in there, ProcGen maps just automatically put those pieces together and stick them into the map. I started tinkering with the new tunnels and train car system, and it is all separate pieces. we're talking like piece. I would have to piece together every little stairs, every little section of tunnel, every little bend, every little door, every little piece of track, everything. And then that's just to get them together. That doesn't even count trying to line them up so that they meet with the terrain correctly and that they extend between the different monuments correctly. And so like it would literally, just to get those on one map, would take me probably 2 to 3 months of nonstop work to get those just on one map. I'm going to look at trying to implement them on future new maps, because doing all that while the map is still under production would be a lot easier, because the hardest part is getting that all lined up with the existing stuff that's already on the map. If I'm doing it in the process of working on a map, it's a lot easier. So I will try to get those in future maps. If anything, maybe sooner, I'll try to get some of those tunnel systems on there, maybe let you guys build inside of them or something cool like that, just to make up for it. And also, I'm going to experiment. I took the new train car. I can't test anything. All I can do is mess with stuff from staging, but I can't test it because we don't have a staging test server. But I was able to take one of those train cars and just set it down on our regular railroad tracks. If that works, I definitely could start adding those trains above ground to our railroad tracks. Ironically, the next map we're running is called Railroad Island. Literally, the whole map is connected by railroads. This would have been perfect for that. We'll have to run that one again in the future if this works. So if this works, again, I can't even test it until after the update. So there's nothing going to change for this update for the Force Wipe. I cannot put any of the new stuff on it for the update. There's just no time. If I can get the trains to work above ground, I could have those potentially on the next map easily, because they just stick them on there, connect some train tracks, good to go. As for the underground stuff, I don't know. I'll try it. One of these nights I'm going to get in Discord. I'm going to stream from the map editor and show you guys what it takes. I mean, just to make just one stairwell from one monument would probably take me 4 to 6 hours just for one stairwell.
As someone who's just poked at the map editor, literally, I've tried playing with it just to make flat ground. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think Facepunch almost did this to kind of shove it to all the custom servers out there, like, "Ha, we got something cool you can't have," type thing. I literally feel like that. Like it's just, and they don't have to do it. The Proc Gen maps, the computer generates all that stuff for them. They don't have to put that stuff together. I have to put it together piece by piece. Just put it this way: the custom dome. I'm sure you guys remember. I think we had a couple wipes ago. Drac watched me put that together. I mean, it's just dome. It takes hours and hours and hours. So I'm doing my best. Don't hold your breath. I don't want to lose players. Like, oh, I want to go to a Proc Gen server so I can play with the tunnels now. I don't think they're going to be that great anyway, but I'll try to get you some in the future.
Our vanilla server will have it.
Yeah, our vanilla server will have them actually because it's a Proc Gen. You're right. I'll try to get you some of the tunnels at least though on a future map, so maybe you can build inside of them. That'd be kind of cool. All right, going on to the next one here. Yeah, Netra. As far as distributing the warp points, again on future maps, you got to understand when I'm building the maps, a lot of the stuff you got to kind of go with what you got. I can't, you can't just slide stuff around on the map. It's real hard to get stuff positioned correctly. I'll try to spread out the bandit and the outpost and stuff like that better, but I got to work with what I got, man. I'm going to spend some nights streaming next time I'm working on a new map, by the way, for us for March 13th. It's looking to be really epic. Can you say town at the bottom of the ocean? Yeah, it's going to be epic. Anyway, maybe I might start streaming maybe this coming week when I'm working on the map, just so you guys can get a feel for what really goes on behind the scenes with these maps. It is not not even remotely easy. Not even remotely easy.
I can vouch for that. I've been fucking with trying to learn it too, and it is a huge pain in the ass. I've learned so much just from T that he's like, yeah, this is how you do that. I'm like, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's insanely hard. So if you guys would be interested, I don't know if you even care, but I'll do some streaming from the map editor. Let you guys watch me work on them. As long as you don't talk my ear off, because it takes a lot of concentration. Let's see. Can you make reload and restart timer? What does that mean? I
already think he's. To it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's talking about like some visible one, like if like restart or the raid base reload is coming, like
okay.
something a GUI or like one of the little things like how the RP shows.
Where like a countdown or something. Yeah, there'd be more plugins though. We don't want to add more plugins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told this was probably under an hour. Whoever told you that lied to you. Next, we talked about Swastika system laws directed at the Coom clan. No, they weren't directed at anybody's clan. Honestly, that's a problem we've been dealing with for 2 years now. Sorry, I'm scrolling and reading here. This is why I didn't want people chatting in this channel.
Well, I mean, it's a 15-second delay, so you gotta.
No, I just don't know which ones are questions and which ones are just chatter.
Oh yeah. I think Deviants was the last with the Hunger Games. That's the last actual question I see.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling looking for questions here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Atlantis. Oh yeah, talking about the underground. The bottom of the ocean town is gonna be really cool. I think you guys will like that next wipe. It's pretty neat. Or not next wipe, but March 13th. Is Hunger Games event ever coming back? Yeah, I mean it's got to be that map. To build that, it took me almost 3 months to finally get that completed on that one map.
Before or after it broke.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking to put that on a map. So we're going to work on another one on another map in the future, but not in the very immediate future. That's for sure.
Yeah, anything map related takes time.
Yeah,
it's a lot of time because that's basically all T.
Can admin TP to me in Discord? Sweet feet, I hate you. Let's see.
Did you say TP to me or TP him to me?
TP to him.
I got TP to him to me. And
yeah, expert raid timer. There are expert and nightmare raid timers. Nivix is working on the GUI for those right now. Those were originally not part of the plugin, so we've asked him to work on that, and he is working on that. They're there. You just don't have the visual timer countdown. He is working on that. Will you ever see car races again? Actually, the races are all live on the light server every day. They're all there. The main server, too crowded with entities. Those races, each one of those rings is like 50 entities, and we just can't do it because people can't control their builds. So can't have them on the main server. Let's see. Why is the Bradley loot so trash? Bradley loot's vanilla, so you'd have to take that up with Face Punch. Can you add an expert raid timer? There already are expert raid timers. Like I said, the GUI is being worked on right now. Will the gift be usable on the next map? I'm assuming you're talking about from this meeting. No. All right, so I think anybody else have a question? I think that's it. I think we can finally finish this up here. Going once, going twice.
And Doolby, the reason why they float is because that's technically considered underwater. So they try and float up.
Yeah. If you're talking about underwater monuments, there's nothing I can do about that. That's just part of how Rust works.
Real quick, I've answered this question 3 times. We have reload NPC and restart timers. They post in chat an hour before and then 15 minutes before, or on each 15-minute mark of that hour. It's always consistent. It's always the same time. Bases reload at 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. And the server restarts on 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. And there's a 300-second timer that actually posts in chat while that's going on.
And it's announced all day. Every hour, it's announced. And then for the final hour, it's announced every 15 minutes. And then for the final 15 minutes, it's announced every 5 minutes. And then for the final 5 minutes, it's announced every 60 seconds. Like, we cannot give you any more warning than that. They're at the same time every day.
To be honest, so first of all, we already get flack sometimes about how much of our UI is on the screen. I don't think that we'd want a separate timer just because we do over communicate the times and they're consistent. I mean, T, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely.
But I don't think we'd want to have that actually on the screen. Just figure out what times those are for your local time zone and put it to memory. It took me a bit to commit it as well, and I've lost RP because of buying bases right before the reset timer myself. But it's always consistent, so.
Yeah, it happens to admins sometimes too. That it happens that they lose a raid or something because of the restarts. But it's the same time every day. There's not much more we can do for you than that. As far as adding more node spots, so again, I've explained multiple times the way nodes work. I paint on the map, and again, I'll stream this week, maybe show you guys how it all works. But I paint on the map where nodes can spawn. And then there's some things that'll automatically paint it for you, like rock formations. This is why I always tell you guys, go around rocks. Cliffs and rock formations automatically paint the node spawn things around. But yeah, I'm just going to probably slap a little bit more splotchiness of node spawns across the map, just so you guys quit fighting over nodes on the main server. Light server, you get to just reap the rewards from it because you have less players, but you'll have more nodes. Okay, everybody good? One more question about one rate? Well, what's the question? Just type it. See, you're doing the support bot thing where you don't tell us the question, you just say you got one.
Hey, Kodiak Jack. The easiest way would be, if you wanted to just dump a bunch of loot, is empty your inventory except for those items you want to get rid of and type /strip. /strip will instantly delete all of that. So
yeah. It will delete everything in your inventory that you're wearing.
And backpack.
No, it doesn't delete your backpack.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. My apologies. But it will delete your entire inventory. So that's what you're wearing, anything on your toolbar, everything. So you
everything except your backpack. Yeah, it'll take your clothes, your guns, your toolbar, your inventory, except your backpack.
And only focused, we will probably not ever have another like island or something for PvP. Most people don't want it. We had it in the past. We took it away because it was never used.
Crazy thing is, only focused. I want PvP zone so bad, but we got rid of it. We had it for almost a year. Sweet Feet, you've been around long enough, you know. Nobody ever touched it. Period. It was just empty. We put special events in it. We put special loot in it, so to attract players. Still, nobody would touch it, or somebody would just get butt naked and run in there and try to snag the loot and then run back out. Like, nobody touched it. So it's just a waste of space.
For Q, for the raid base you call the Welt, like there are a lot of raid bases that have, especially like expert raid bases that have drops with shotgun traps protecting them. It is difficult to make raid bases hard to do without throwing something like that in. Like that's kind of my go-to when I build an expert or a nightmares, to throw in 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 drops in the base, just because it's like, how do I make this hard to do without just it being free loot?
Yeah, and also you got to remember, raid bases are supposed to be realistic. If that's the meta right now in Rust or whatever that trend word is that people use, then that's what we're going to do. You know, that's how people are building bases. That's how we're going to build the raid bases. We want it to be realistic. We want it to be a challenge. Okay,
Yeah,
Anything
people
else?
raid them all the time. So there's a way to raid them, and it tends to be F1 grenades. So
Okay, everybody good? Any more questions? Last chance. People are anxious for their little gift.
All right, I'm stopping the recording because I gotta
All
get
right.
my